Okay, guys, thanks very much for joining today. My name's Chris Thompson. I'm one of the software sales managers here at WorkPal. Tell you very, very quick about myself. I've been with the company now almost 2 years, and I've been doing a lot of work throughout the drainage industry. Simply because I think it's a really good industry and it's a really good fit for WorkPal. I'm joined today by Graham Ross, who's one of my clients from SWD Drainage. Thanks very much for joining today, Graham. Just checking you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Chris.
Perfect. Thanks again for joining. So I'll start off by telling you a little bit about WorkPal. So we are a job management software solution company, and we've been around now. This is coming up to our 11th year. Last year was our 10th year anniversary. And we specialize in job management software, enabling companies to go from a paper-based environment then to a more sort of paperless solution. WorkPal works on both Android and iOS, and I suppose one of the key features that I will point out at the start here is that WorkPal is 100% cloud-based. So not only can you use this on the likes of a PC or a laptop, but you can also log in to your desktop from a large iPad, for example, and then you can schedule jobs and you can do your invoices, etc. from that. WorkPal also integrates with the likes of QuickBooks, Xero, and Sage. But Graham, tell me a little bit now about SWD and the business background of that, please.
SW, we started in 2015, a very small family company. And over the last couple of years, we've grown to quite a big company now. I've been here for 3.5 years in my current role with GM. Before then, I actually started out on the camera vans, obviously doing the work myself. And also drainage in about 16 years in total.
Very good. And
depots, so it's going well.
Good. And COVID-wise, I suppose, were you massively impacted by COVID, or I suppose every drainage company that's spoken to has had quite a good.
We doubled in size during COVID. Obviously, at home, a lot of pump station failures. And obviously, demand for lorries and tankering was very high. So, COVID was quite good for us, to be honest with you.
Okay. And I suppose I'll go ahead and start moving into a little bit of a question and answer session with you, Graham. And then what I'll do is I'll provide a very quick sort of insight and run through WorkPal from there. So, Graham, before taking on WorkPal, what sort of challenges did you face regarding workforce management or basically managing the team?
Well, before WorkPal, we used to have a paper-based job sheet with obviously pictures coming from the engineers. So a lot of forms, a lot of folders, and relying on the engineers bringing the paperwork in after each shift. And if they were to call out, if paperwork would be delayed or everything would be photographed and sent over via WhatsApp or email. So a lot of the clients weren't getting information straight away. They weren't the greatest pictures or were delayed for poor signal. Obviously, then the client would be frustrated, we'd be frustrated, and a lot of time would be wasted in waiting for these reports to come over. A lot of information could have got lost as well, not put in the right folders or sent out of hours. So you'd be waking up in the middle of the night trying to put all the work into one place. You'd make mistakes.
Of course.
So very frustrated to actually hear that before then.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and a lot of companies that I would speak to as well, very similar to yourselves at the start, is that engineers are maybe WhatsApping photos back and things like that. And so onboarding with WorkPal, talk me through how you found the onboarding process from training, sort of support, things like that.
Sure, it was really easy. We obviously yourself and I had an initial chat. We went through obviously a demo, which was really easy and very informative. And then the training side of actually getting out everything was really easy. All the information was there. You can import all your existing client details, invoicing details, and the actual training. I think we're going to use about third half of it of the actual training time. It was actually that easy to use, pretty straightforward. And obviously getting into the road, we went through them with the demo, and they picked it up straight away. So everything was pretty easy, nice and quick, and we didn't actually use all the time we actually needed. Obviously, it was all done. So it's actually quite a good thing to have the office staff as well.
Good, good. And to be fair, Graham, I think you're one of my records. We got you set up quite quick in a couple of weeks, didn't we? I think you'd used something similar before.
For the operation was that a couple of weeks, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. That's great. And I suppose, can you talk me through then how WorkPal has enhanced the overall operation? So now that you're using WorkPal a couple of months down the line, what is it doing for you?
It's taken a lot of stress away, absolute load of stress. Also,
Right.
you've got your job reports with all the photos of all timestamps, so you can prove to the client what time is on site, what time the work was carried out. All your reporting, your invoices through to zero as well, your quotations, timesheets, scheduling, it's all in one place. You're not chasing having 4 different tabs open on your screen on the computers. You've got one tab, one screen, and everything's all there. The amount of time as a company you saved, and obviously the environment with paper as well, it's 10 times easier. And I will
Yeah.
go back.
Good.
And
Good. Well, that's
we can all log on to the same page. We can see everything now. You can see who raised the quote, where the quote was raised, and you just download it on a PDF or an Excel or a CSV file. You can email it straight to the client. There's so many different options you can use on whatever you find easier. It's definitely helped us massively as a company.
good. Good. And have you had any customer feedback, like regarding the job sheets that they would receive or the invoices? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, with the job sheets, we have tried another app before yourselves from an old manager who was here. And that one, you had one picture per A4 sheet. So if an engineer took 10 photos on site, he was getting a report which was like 15 pages long on what they led you do with pictures, which the client didn't really appreciate because there's a lot of scrolling through just to look at a picture of a man. So where this is all nice, compacted in titles, the pictures are all there, timestamps. It's literally 2 pages long. It's nice. It's professional, and the client hasn't got to scroll through pages and pages of pictures to get the answers they need. Obviously, the quotes, they're obviously with sites. They're obviously kept, and it shows the history of the sites as well. So it all looks the same. It's all professional, and the clients love it.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And the final question for you, Graham. Would you recommend WorkPal, and if so, why?
Yes, definitely. The amount of office time you can save using an app like yourselves is so cost efficient. Obviously, before it might take a couple of hours a day scrolling through reports, invoicing. Now, literally, you can be done within an hour. You have all the previous day's work's done, the weekend work's done, and all the clients got their reports straight away. But as a business on office time, it is so great, to be honest with you. I can't have enough words to say about it.
Good, good. Well, Graham, that's great. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to a very, very quick demonstration. We've got this sort of timed in for half an hour, so I will try to keep it to the half an hour. But before I sort of go through the desktop feature side of things, we can create any bespoke digital forms that any client needs. It may be a paper waste sheet, waste transfer note, or any sort of work record can be built in. We actually build any digital form to spec and code. So what that means is basically that the output of the form is in a PDF version of your paper form. It looks exactly the same if that's how you want it to. We can add photo features to that form. But that includes things like rehab daily work records, jetvac daily work records, manhole survey cards, asset service forms, health and safety weekly checklists, you name it, we can build it. And then documents can also be uploaded to things like clients and sites and jobs. So anything from a method statement, risk assessment, even drawings can all be added as documents so that your engineers or your mobile users can see that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into the desktop here. Hopefully you can see this okay. And within WorkPal, you can start to manage your clients by, first of all, groups. So if I click into a group, for example, and I click into AutoWorks, you can see that there are multiple sites. So within WorkPal, you can bulk import from a spreadsheet that we have, and then that'll import all of your clients. And then within clients, you can also import multiple sites as well. To keep it simple, the work is always done against the site. So if I search for a particular client, Within each client, what you can do, if I edit the client here, you can set a individual visit charge, and then you can set an hourly rate. So WorkPal will recognize that that job took 4 hours, and it will sort of calculate that in the background. Against each individual client, you can add a minimum charge, you can add discounts if that's relevant, but you can also create your own bespoke VAT rates, which is really, really handy as well. So I'm going to jump back into the site here now. And what you'll see in a site in WorkPal is the site details and the site email. And when a site email is added to WorkPal, this makes everything so much more efficient, from sending job sheets, completed forms, because as soon as a job is completed, all relevant information from the mobile user is sent back to the office. What you can see here then is a list of completed jobs, okay? And that's where they sit, and they can be accessed at any stage, and then any open jobs moving forward will be available here. Now, before I do move into this, I wanted to explain, not every drainage company benefits from the asset management side of things, but some do. If you're servicing, maintaining, or commissioning any sort of pump station or a drainage system on a site, asset management could add a lot of value. This is one particular asset on this site, and what you can see here is what's called asset fields. You can customize these, you can rename them, and then you can store the relevant information within. What's nice about this is that WorkPal stores the full asset service history here, okay? And what you can do is you can click in, and I've used SWD's sort of logos and things like that for this, but what you can see here is an example of an asset service form from WorkPal, and that can be emailed to the client straight away. Okay, and against each individual asset, you can store notes, photos, forms, and documents as well. So I created the job for the demo today, but just to give you an example of what I've done, it's really, really simple to use. So I put a job title, job description, roughly how long I thought the job would take. Now within WorkPal, you can also create your own bespoke job statuses and job types as well. So I just added a lot of different ones there within the drainage industry. And what's nice about that is you can now start to filter down all of your jobs, may they be open or completed, by job type or by job status. Now within WorkPal, you can also create bespoke priority codes. So for example, if you are in need to respond within a certain time frame, you can create those within WorkPal. So if I was to click 4-hour response, you can see that it sets it that the job must be completed within the next 4 hours. And we do have KPI reports on the back of this that will show if that has been achieved or not. Another feature here, which is really handy for those sort of 6 monthly, 3 monthly PPMs, you can set a job to reoccur. You can set the reoccur to the mobile user. And again, you can set it by every 6 days, weeks, months, years. And if you select months, this is a cool feature. You can select for the first Monday or the first Tuesday of each month, and then you can set a stop reoccurring date there as well. So this is what the open job looks like that I created. Just basically, there's a blockage on site. You can see here the entry date, who created the job, and I added an access note there, just a code to the back door, something useful for the engineer as they approach site. Within WorkPal, there is a really nice feature called task management, and the idea behind this is that whoever's creating the job can create a task or a list of tasks that the engineer will complete when they're on site. Now, you can manually type in the task description, or what you can do is you can actually build in what's known as a schedule of rates. So from here, if I type in drain as an example, it'll bring up a list of activities, and within each activity, you can actually host a price against it. I mean, what's really nice about this is your mobile users do not see any financials on their mobile device, but this is already creating an invoice in the background. So as soon as that job's completed, you have an invoice ready to ping either into QuickBooks, Xero, or Sage, and then you can email that to your client as well. So I'll add another couple here, and I'll create that. So I've added 2 tasks, and what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to assign this out to an engineer. So here's an engineer up here. and there is the sort of the site where the job is. And what you'll do is you can click on a mobile user, or what you can do is you can select a mobile user from the drop down. Okay. If, however, you don't know when a job is going to be, when a job is going to start and end, and you don't know which mobile user is going to do the job, so you're scheduling ahead of time, then this is our scheduling tool. And what you can see here is on the left-hand side of the scheduling tool is the list of mobile users. And on the right-hand side here is a list of unscheduled jobs. Now, because I don't have a start and end time and I haven't assigned this to someone, it sits here for me to drag and drop to the mobile user that's going to complete the job. This job here, as you can see, it's orange. That's because it is paused. Okay, so Mike Thompson here has, who's not a relative of mine, by the way, but he has paused that job. When a job is in progress, it goes green. And again, if it's been completed, it goes blue. From here, if you need to unassign someone or you need to reschedule, it's very, very simple. You can just simply drag and drop that job to someone else, and that will ping through. So I am going to share my mobile phone now. I'm going to give you just a very quick basic overview of what this does. I am aware of the time, so I'm not going to go into everything in detail. But within the mobile app, it works on both Android and iOS, and it's downloadable from your Google Play Store or your Apple Store as well. WorkPal, on the mobile user, basically, the engineer at the start of the day will press Start Shift. So this is going to track things like their time cards. It's going to track things like travel time if you want it to, and it's also going to track accurate time on the job as well. When an engineer presses Start Shift, it will actually leave a pin on a map based on their GPS location with an S for Start Shift. So you'll clearly see what's happened there. I've got this set up just that every morning a vehicle check form. This is an example of a digital form that's been created within WorkPal. So the mobile user will go through, complete that, and then that's available back in the office in real time. Mobile user will click on jobs and they can see a list of jobs that have been assigned to them. And there's paused, completed, and in progress. Here's the job that we're going to run through today. So basically the mobile user can read then the likes of the job title, job description. They can click directions, and the directions button will take them directly through to where the job is. Okay, moving back out of there then, if they need to call the site telephone number for whatever reason, they can simply press that and they can call through their normal mobile phone. Travel time is set there, so if you want to track travel time, you can certainly do so. If you aren't interested in this feature, then this can be turned off and it would remove. Now, when an engineer presses Start Job Timer, we have certain forms and different elements of compliance that can be built into this as well. So when a job, when a form pops up like this, we'll go through ahead and complete it. So for example, this is a COVID-19 form, okay? Other forms that can be created and added here are things like maybe a risk assessment or things like that. So from here, once I complete this, then a risk assessment pops up. Now, again, we can build in any bespoke risk assessments for you guys as you go through that. So I'm just going to move down. I'm going to sign this off. And I'm going to complete that. And what you'll see now is the job timers counting away there. And all I'm doing that's so simple to use, I'm going to work from the top on the way down. So regarding tasks, the idea is that the engineer can view the tasks, they can click on a task, and from here they can see the description. As you can see, there's no financials, notes can be added, and all they need to do is either no longer required, edit, or complete. And this is all feeding back to the office in real time. Okay, so we will just complete this one here. And then the asset management side of things, and the assets on a particular site will be here. We do have a feature called helpers, which will allow you to add, for example, apprentices to a job, and there's no need for the apprentice to have a mobile app, so you can assign their name to a job and the time as well. Any notes added to the job are available here. And again, the engineer can also leave notes on that as well. Any digital forms that we build in, for example, a waste transfer note, will sit here. And I suppose the nice thing about WorkPal is that you don't need to assign forms to a job or forms to an engineer. If we build in a list of forms for you, they would be available here, okay? And then your mobile user can simply click on the form, complete that form, and everything is syncing back to the office in real time. The documents can also be added to a job. So for example, there's a drainage site plan. And what this means is that the mobile user can see any documents that are available. They can zoom in. And you can also upload a list of RAMs, for example, as well. So you can upload any documents that you need to, as long as they're like a PDF version format. And then they'll be available for the engineer as well. Now, if I sign this off as an operative, I'm going through this a little quicker than normal, but if you are interested in having a look at this in a little bit more detail, I'm more than happy to do a one-on-one demonstration. When it comes to customer signature, we have a really cool feature that we developed throughout the pandemic. So historically, I would need to give my tablet to the customer or my phone, and they would then obviously cross-contaminate, touch my phone or tablet, and sign. So if I click the QR feature at the top, this enables the customer to scan this QR code. When that's scanned, they will face this page here. They can type their name at the top, like so. They can sign it. And once that's saved, then that will all appear back onto this, onto the mobile device. Now, when I click complete job, we can set different levels of compliance. So if this particular engineer is supposed to take photos but forgot, you can set it to have so many images before the job can be completed. And this prompts you to go up, add photos. So I'm going to add 2 photos quite quickly here. And these photos are time and date stamped. And you can also add a caption if required. I'm going to add 1 more photo. And I'm going to complete the job. And that's the job completed. What you'll see here is this job is now moved to completed, and then your mobile user can now move on to the next job. Or typically at the end of the day, what they'll do is they'll go back to the main menu, they'll click on their time shift, and they'll end it. Okay. So from here, if I refresh the scheduling tool, what you should see here is the job is now blue, and blue means complete. And from here, you can simply click into a job and you can see the tasks that were completed, how long it took the engineer on the job, and then moving down. So as an office worker, all you're really doing here when a job's complete is working across the bottom, okay? One of the things to point out is the job sheet that's automatically created off the back of a job. And from here, you can email your client straight away. So this syncs the email address from the site on that. And this is what the job sheet looks like that WorkPal creates automatically. So there's no worker effort involved in the creation of this particular form. So it pulls through the job information, the site information, travel time. This feature again can be turned on or off. You've got assignees, and multiple people can be attached to a job. A breakdown of the tasks that were completed. I've got the feature for notes to be shown, a list of assets on site and if they were serviced or not. There's the photographs that were captured and the customer and operative signature as well. So all of this syncs back to the office in real time and is available. Any forms that were completed on the job sit down here. There's the COVID-19 form as an example. And again, you can email, and once it's been emailed, it shows you with a little tick as well. Now, I did mention at the start of the demonstration, we do integrate with the likes of QuickBooks, Xero, and Sage, and WorkPal automatically pulls through the tasks to an invoice. So whenever I click the Generate Invoice button, what you will see here is it pulls through the job title, job description, and the parts and tasks from the job. Now, from here, you can still add, and you can edit things like the price as well. So it makes things so much quicker. If you need to delete something from it, you just hit your little waste button there. And if you need to add to it, you simply press the plus button. And this also works with the fast entry code feature or the schedule of rates. I'm going to save that now. And from here, you can email to your client. And this is what the PDF looks like that comes from WorkPal. So in the last 5 minutes, what I'm going to explain to you now is sort of how you can manage jobs within WorkPal, how you can manage things like invoices. But this is the invoice, the customer-facing document, and you can also upload your own little bit of T's and C's to the bottom of the page as well. In real life, there'll be a button here beside View Job called QuickBooks Xero or Sage. Click that button and that will send that directly into those platforms for you. So we're going to jump back to the main screen now. And all these orange tiles, jobs, within the jobs features list, you'll notice that there's a lot of different dispositions and drop downs so that you can filter down and have a look at all your jobs. So let's have a look at all of our closed jobs. Okay, and what you'll notice here is the job status column. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start, you can create your own bespoke job statuses. And what this means is that now that that job has been completed, I can now change the job status, and I could say, for example, invoice pending, because I've sent it into QuickBooks Xero or Sage, and then you can now start to filter all of your status. Invoices paid, invoices pending, and so on. Okay, and you can filter down even by group, by client, by site. You can even have a look at all of the users and what jobs they have completed. Or, this is a nice feature, so let me just reset this. You can filter down by actual job type as well. Okay. Moving back in then, just to sort of finish this off, we've had a look at some of these features here. The fleet, you can create and import some of your vehicles. You can see I've got 22 here. If I click on this particular Ford Transit, you can store information, MOT dates, tax dates, etc., last service date. You can add notes, and a nice feature here now is documents. So you can add like any sort of MOT certs or anything like that to that vehicle as well. Vehicle check forms will be automatically stored here against this form comes as standard with WorkPal. And it's really simple, so everything's kept there in the one space. Quotations are very, very similar to what you saw in the invoices tab. So you can create an invoice. It looks very, very similar to the actual invoice document that went out. And what's nice about the quotation is that you can disposition that once it's sent as closed lost or closed won. And from closed won, you can just click a button and that will create that into a job. Some of the nice features that we have within WorkPal is the reporting feature, and your world is your oyster whenever it comes to the types of reports that you can have within WorkPal. So we build any bespoke reporting that any clients need, but some examples would be a shift report. This shift report comes as standard, and you can run this from the start of a month to the end of a month. You can do it daily, weekly. And simply what this does is this creates a report, and this will show every single mobile user. It's only me on this demo platform, but it would give you a full breakdown of your mobile users per day within that time period with their start shift, how many hours they done on the job, travel hours, how many jobs, and overtime as well. Okay. And if you scroll at the bottom of this report, what this will show is all of your mobile users with their total job hours, travel hours, and shift hours within that period summary. So guys, that is a little gentle overview of WorkPal. I would like to thank you all for joining today. If you are interested in seeing a little bit more of WorkPal or you have any questions, please feel to reach out. My email address is c.thompson@workpal.app, or you can get me directly via LinkedIn as well. Graham, if you're still there, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on board, and I'll speak to you all soon, guys. Thank you.
No worries, Chris. My pleasure.
Thanks, Graham. All the best. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you take care.